happy to take you over again this week. Hope you all had an awesome week.
Name 197.6.
Good morning, Carmen. Week 7. This is Sarah. 277.6.
Shanna 160.
In 7th place, we have Miss Jenna with 2.4 pounds lost and 1.46% of your body weight gone. And yay, bravo. In 6th place, we have Miss Neela with 4.1 pounds gone and 1.72% drop in body weight. So congratulations. All right, in 5th place, we have Miss Jean with 5.6 pounds lost and 2.52% body fat down, gone forever. Okay, in 4th place, we have Miss Amy with 8.8 pounds gone, and that's a total of 3.93% body weight drop. Congratulations. In 3rd place, this is when it gets heavy. Miss Janine, we have you have lost 12.8 pounds and a total of 6.8% body fat. That's a big deal. Okay, 2nd place, drum roll. We have Miss Natasha with a total of 15.8 pounds gone and 6.57% body weight lost. Congratulations. Which means, last but not least, in 1st place, we have Miss Sarah with a total of 21.2 pounds gone. That's a 7.09% body weight release. That's fantastic. Congratulations. So, and also this week, Miss Sarah is in a new decade. She has made it to the 270s. So way to go. We are going to be talking about a topic called the gray zone. So, on the road to success, one of the key things is to find someone who has what you want and to just simply do what they do, right? Easy. To find a program like we have that has results and follow the recipe. But as adults, one of the hardest things for us to do is to follow directions. Note to self, it doesn't come naturally. What comes naturally is to change it and to sometimes complicate. Something that's simple should be so simple. But no, sometimes we fudge it and want to do it our way, right? Anybody else besides me? So, for example, if I give you the recipe for a triple chocolate cherry cake and you follow the directions exactly, what is going to come out of your oven? If you follow it exactly, my amazing, delicious triple chocolate cherry cake. But what most people do is they look at the recipe, they change it, they fudge it, they question it. Oh, is that right? They make substitutions. They just wing it. Oh, I feel like it needs a little dash more of this. Don't measure. They eyeball it. And then when they make the cake, what comes out is not my cake that I gave you. It's an experiment. So then when the cake doesn't turn out, we don't blame ourselves. We blame the recipe. It was the recipe's fault. There must be something wrong because there's no way it was human error or differentiation, right? So at the beginning of the program, you were given a checklist and shown the results of people who have followed the program and the results that it spits out. It is black and white. But human nature is to change it, wing it, fudge it, assume it, be a little lazy with it. and be a little half-hearted about it. So when you are not following the black and white recipe, this is called the gray zone. Just a little bit of mixed up ball in there. The gray zone is then you are drinking water all day. So you say, I'm drinking water all day, but you're not actually measuring it and saying, I think I had enough. I think it was about a gallon. It's when we fill our containers and the lid won't go on. Like the container's not supposed to look like that, right? You shave it off the top. It's when we take a lick of the peanut butter, a spoonful of taco meat. It's still a spoonful of taco meat that wasn't in the container, right? We're texting during our workout versus doing it wholeheartedly. We aren't watching the Tuesday night live video. In short, it's anything that we do that is not following the plan, the contract that we all signed the same thing, right? So, and this is what naturally happens. We have to fight to not get comfortable and be in the gray zone. So if you look back at your contract, the one that you agreed with Carmen and signed your name on the dotted line, did it say to check in when you want to? Did it say take as many nibbles as you like, as long as Carmen doesn't know? Does it say check in when you feel like it? Does it say work out when it's convenient or when life's not busy? Is anybody's life ever not busy? I'm just curious. I would never work out if that was the excuse I used. So all the things on the contract were requirements and not suggestions. They were put there to help you get results. You can't put in 60% effort and expect 100% results. You only get 100% out of what you put in 100%, period. So who is in charge of your choices? All the fingers at ourselves. Yes. Yep. So at this point, I'm going to ask my castmates to share some examples of the gray zone.
Mostly for me, the gray zone in this weight loss journey of mine being in this program has been not planning my containers. So I can get to a point to where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I've had, how many reds have I had today? I think I've had 2 reds. And then, okay, wait, no, I've had, 3 veggies. And then so I start eyeballing things and forgetting, oh, and then now I got an extra container of this, or I didn't get this container in. And of course, we have to report that finally, at the end of the day. And so my biggest thing is planning. I show the ladies sometimes just my meal plans for the week, and I've had so much skin in the game now that I have pages of meal plans that I can just throw in my refrigerator and say, okay, this is what I'm eating for the week, and just pull from that. But it wasn't always like that. I cultivated all of these plans, week by week by week, until I had a nice stash. And I don't change my food up often. It's, if I like something, I'm probably going to eat it for like the next 2 weeks and call it a day, because it's just easier for me to stay consistent that way and not overwhelm myself. So, and we receive these papers in our initial emails. So there's like no excuse for me to, continue or to have had this winging it mentality. So that's I'm not gonna say I've 100% overcome, but I'll say I'm about 90%, since I have my sheets to pull from. That really helps me when I don't know what to eat. And I'm like, girl, why are you not knowing how many containers of this you've had all day? I'm like, I have a talk with myself. I'm like, girl, sit down, plan, or pull from what you have already so you can succeed. I've learned to be mindful of the little bites that, add up. This little bite here. Oh, I'm cooking this ground meat. I need to know, did I season it too much or did I not? So I have little taste testers in my house. And even if I didn't, I'm just going to have to eat what I make. And that's it. Either add more of whatever I need to or just deal with it. So those are the two areas for me in my journey where gray zoning has been, the most, I guess, prevalent, but overcoming, just having the tools to overcome that. And like I said, pulling from my stash, it really has changed my relationship with planning.
Preparing myself for those work trips. I know a lot of us can agree on that, oh, it's just, I'm going to the hotel and they have a salad bar. I'm going to have a salad bar. And then, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of like, it's chicken, it's chicken wing and a salad. Isn't that supposed to be good? I'm eating chicken wings and salad. Isn't that supposed to be good? So those are the things that I've really, really struggled with. It's traveling and finding the balance between work and committing to the program. So just knowing like how to prepare better so that I don't fail, it's where I think will help me be successful and consistent, because I'm always going to travel. Like it's part of my life. It's part of my career. So it's finding the balance and finding what to do and how to stay and stick to the plan and be consistent with it. So I know we all agree, right? We're always going to travel. We're always going to do things. It's just finding that, like, no, girl, you can do this.
Can. So one of the gray zone areas that I had at one point, so I'm an emotional eater. I recognize that. And I had put things into place to, when I get too emotional, to change my mind, do something else, just not go to food. And at one point, unfortunately, that did not work. And I was just like beyond my threshold. And I had a cheat, an unplanned cheat. So that's a definite no-no. But the gray zone part of it was my old fluffy self saying, well, at least it wasn't like a total binge like in the past. So it's progress. It was just like one cookie, not the whole bag, or just like half the bag, not the whole bag. But that's gray zoning it. That's giving yourself excuses for doing it, but just trying to alleviate how it's not conductive to your goal, right? It doesn't align where I want to go. So yeah, so it's telling yourself, well, okay, trying to get yourself back together in that moment. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, well, do I want to get to my goal in 6 months, or do I want to get there in 9 months? So just that little gray zone area can be the difference. So, it's sticking to the plan, and you have to sometimes really like work on keeping your ego out of it and telling your ego to F off because, there's no place for it in this journey right now. And when you're in the focus phase, you really, really have to work on your ego and say, you know what? I effed up. It happens. We're human. But what I did is still not okay. So I'm just going to pick myself back up and continue on and do better tomorrow, and then work on being more consistent day in and day out. And then I will get to my goal.
First, I want to say that the gray zone is a slippery slope. What happens is you make one exception and you kind of justify it. And then if that becomes like accepted and you're still seeing a little bit of results, you feel like, oh, that's okay. So I can just kind of do that and get by. So I'll keep doing that. But eventually what happens is the habits that you're trying to create, you don't create, or you create them wrong. And it really is just going to put you back eventually where you're at. You have to really get a hold of it now while you're in the focus phase. Because for me, for example, when I was the first 2 months, like I was so focused. It was like almost every day was consistent for me. I was really on it. And then my life, things happened, life happened, a lot of stuff. And rather than doing what I should have done, I really started to gray zone a lot after the basically starting in phase 2. Around that time I started to like really eyeball, oh, I'm pretty sure I know like how much goes in there, even my water sometimes, which I was really really good about. And what happened was I went from really good consistent weight loss to kind of a very long plateau. So you're going to be doing this. My advice would be you might as well do it right and have better results, because like the time's going to be gone. Some examples of gray zone would be like drinking water all day and saying like, I'm pretty sure I got enough water in because I was drinking all day. Or like I said, eyeballing the containers, or maybe your workouts, maybe you skip one here or there, or you do one that's like not quite 30 minutes, or you whatever. If you're doing the calorie one, going over your calories a little bit, trying to go under a lot because you think that's going to be helpful, and it may work for a few weeks, but it will eventually slow your metabolism down, have the opposite effect. So gray zone really just is not following the formula that works.
Alrighty, so I'm just thinking of the gray zone, and all I can think about now is grazing on. I think we graze on the gray zone, which is a huge part of the gray zone, is you tend to graze on. So yeah, like Angela said, don't do it. A few of my examples, this one's a little harder to talk about, I believe, because we're all like in the thick of it. And we deal with this like on a daily basis, and you got to get stronger. You got to be obsessed about this whole journey. Point number 1, not knowing does not exempt you from something, right? Like the law. If you don't know the law, it's not like you're going to be exempt from it in, a court of law, right? Or doing, violating some sort of traffic law. When you get stopped, you're not going to say, oh, I didn't know, therefore I'm off the hook. Well, we have been, all of us still have been given the contract. We were given all the instructions. We were, given direction. And, my advice was fine tune it now, like print off the food lists, have them accessible. Know your deadlines, know when the time is up, show up when you are required to show up. And I have a slight confession to all my cast members. And it was just, when I realized what had happened, it was just too embarrassing at that point to confess. But speaking of not being exempt, I think the first couple weeks of our focus phase, I just consistently had an extra purple every single day for about like 2 or 3 weeks. Guys, when I realized this, because I thought I was like so detail oriented, I went over all my stuff, all my papers. I was horrified. I was like, I cannot believe it. And so that is my confession. So, and yeah, I felt dumb because you are given the manual, right? We like have our why videos and stuff. So another thing that I think I talked about before, but some of my cast members would like not get enough containers in, right? So that's a gray zone, I think we talked about. Well, I would always add containers, you know, and I'm like, I justify it because it's not really a cheat. So, you know, it's a healthy green or a healthy red. But then I would have to, what I did eventually, I was like, okay, Solana, you can't just keep adding containers because you know, you feel like it. So I would tell myself that if I added another container today, I would subtract it from tomorrow. And that was motivation enough for me to be like, no, I actually want to space out my containers. Or I know some of our cast members, and O'Quinn says, like, if you missed your workout today, you do 2 tomorrow. That's a commitment that you've made to yourself. And I know some of our, you know, you girls have done that before. So he, like Angie said, like, do it right. Like, right the first time around every single day, because the time is still going to go. It's for a season. You're committed, and put your all effort in. The time's going to pass, and you're going to regret not fine tuning it, like, you know, on week 6 per se, you know, not on, you know, whenever. And a good analogy too that I recently heard is, you know, nobody tunes their instrument after the concert, right? Fine tune it now. Go over all that and get your head in the right just headspace or mindset. Like, you're going to do this and you're going to be committed, and not have any unplanned cheats. Don't enter the gray zone, and stay committed for as many days as you can.
I have a question for you, season 12. What areas have you been in the gray zone, and how do you plan to fix it?
I think everybody already know my gray zone is water. Somebody's like, I'm almost done, guys, and I have like a little X. But my solution, I actually have been thinking about it because I don't like not, but I usually, this is so everybody understand, it be in my cup next to the bed, and I drink water through the night, which is horrible because I'd be up all night, right? But I will finish the water before the sun comes up, so I'll be like, does it count? But you know. So anyway, I'm supposed to be finishing my 7. My habit tracker has not left day 1, so everybody understand that. I'll admit it. But so now I'm going to I have 2 64-ounce jugs. So I'm gonna put times on there so that I have to drink a certain amount by a certain time, or I can't eat my next thing, which my appetite has increased, which is crazy, but we're not gonna talk about that part. So if I have to drink by a certain time and I can't eat, that's definitely going to motivate me to stay out of that zone.
Pretty much resonated with everything you all said. So I have a ton of notes. I don't know. I think I struggle in a lot of these areas. Planning would probably be the biggest one. And Anya, when you said that, you know, you run a tight ship, and I feel the same way. And like, even the discipline being like a form of love, and I know all these things, and I'm like an adult and I take care of all these people. But I do get extra, or I do get less of something, or if I'm nauseous that day, I'm like way under calorie count. So I just am not like as consistent as I'd like to be. So some days it's like really good, all is well. Some days are really under. So yeah, I need to plan, and I need to figure out an actual plan for my plan. It sounds so ridiculous. I'm an adult. I can really do this. But I need to just like take, like you said, a couple minutes and sit down and say, like, this is not rocket science here. Like I can have the same thing, you know, every other day or every few days and write it down. It's not that, you know, taking care of an entire household. Like, why can't I just figure out what I'm putting in my mouth every day, like, so that is the biggest thing for me for sure. And I've definitely gray zoned water. Like water is, I thought would be so easy. I know we'll get to that another episode, but that was like what I thought would be easy. And 3/4 of a gallon is like what I am okay with taking in. And I didn't sign that for my contract. So yeah, that's it. I've got a lot of issues, but let's just start with planning. And I'm gonna just sit down and write down what I'm going to eat this week. Like it's just not that hard, but I'm making it a lot more difficult. I make these meals for my family and everything's delicious and amazing, and I can't taste anything. Like Anya, I can't, like you were talking about taste testers. I just give it to them. And I'm like, if it needs whatever, so I know myself, I'll have like an entire like serving of chili before I even serve it to anybody, so I cannot do that. Anyway, thanks for listening. That's just planning.
It is eating too late, and then it's also water. So I usually do pretty good with my water. I get my gallon down, but then on a rest day, I really struggle with getting that water in, because usually when I work out, I get hot, I get sweaty. I can drink 2 quarts of it, like right before, during, and right after my workout. So that like takes care of half of it right there early. And then the rest of the day I can just, drink, whatever to get it done. But on days I don't work out, I struggle with that. And I usually do not get my water in on my rest days. Usually I'm getting like 2 quarts in on my rest days. And so I've got to work on that for sure. And even on some other days that's not a rest day, I just struggle with getting in more than the 3 quarts. And sometimes I'm like trying to force it down. And, it's like trying to force down a quart of water at 10 o'clock at night is tough. I make myself all nauseous, and, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not ideal. And then also eating too late. So even though I stay within my window, because sometimes I don't have anything. If I work out at 8, I'm eating my recover by 9. And, but that doesn't mean I should eat until 9 o'clock, but I do. And, so sometimes I'm like finishing up, and sometimes I even go over that 12-hour window by like 30 minutes, eating at 9 or 9:30. And I think what I've done is I've tricked myself into believing that that's helpful, because I've always been a late night snacker. And I'm like, okay, I've got to save some of this food for late night, or I'll end up cheating, right? Or I'll end up eating something I shouldn't, and I will just go off plan. So in order to, alleviate that, I'm just going to save a couple containers and have them at 9 o'clock, knowing that's too late. And, yeah, so that's where I've got to stop. So today I actually did a Marco Polo in the group earlier, and I just said 7 o'clock, I'm done by 7 o'clock. And tonight I was done at 7:01. So I mean, progress. It was a minute over, but yeah. So that's been my main thing, is eating too late.
I don't think it's the plan itself that I'm gray zoning in. I'm gray zoning in other areas. And part of it was by design, because I just wanted to make sure that I could just nail this down. But like, I haven't fed my family in weeks. I'm just like, you're on your own until mom figures this out. Okay. And it's not such a terrible thing, because my son has he's 16 and he has band practice, and I don't know when he's going to get home. And my daughter's 20, she may be home, she may be not. It's like it just and then it's just my husband who has to just kind of fend for himself. So yeah, so that's where I need to like pick up the slack now, is like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. So I need to feed my family. I need, and like last week I took a day off, got caught up on laundry and some housework. And, it's the things that I've been kind of procrastinating on as I try to figure out this plan. So it's like, um, there's a quote that I love that's like, if it's overwhelming you in a day, break it down into an hour. So I'm not looking far enough, and I think that's what's overwhelming me. And so I just need to be like, okay, what day are you guys home? So I can make you dinner and, make sure that, I stick to my plan, but also help them with theirs. So that's pretty much it.
Gosh, I really resonated with Svetlana when she said, like, she loves working out. And I've been trying to will myself into feeling the same way about healthy food and just like eating right. Because I don't know, I guess for me, I actually really like healthy food. I really like eating healthy. My issue is like the nibbles and the extra healthy food. And I mean, even if it's like a pretzel, or I'm not like one of those people that sits down with a bag of chips. Or if I have chocolate, it's like dark chocolate, or it's not like, I'm not like, I like the healthy stuff, but I can't have it. Like, you just can't have a pretzel right now, or I can't have the dark chocolate. And so I don't know. And like, I look up to people like Sarah, or people that are just like really doing the program exactly how it's supposed to be done, because that's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way that gets the most result. And for some reason, I gray zone the heck out of that area. And I can't like figure myself out sometimes, because I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? What's actually wrong with you? And I know there's nothing wrong. I mean, we're just all human, but I'm like, it's weird because I'm never missing a workout. And when I do the workout, it's like what you said, I think it was Angela that said the thing about discipline. Like, when I'm working out, it's like I am so dead tired. I'm in like my second trimester, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna sweat. I'm gonna like push it. I'm gonna do this because it feels so good for my body. So I'm like, yes, like this pain is good for me. And then I'm like, why can't I have the same feeling when I say no to something, when I don't eat like the rest of my son's little healthy sandwich that I made him, or, whatever it is. So I'm just really like, and like Natasha said, I have the habit tracker that like literally has X's all the way down it, because I can't do it more than one day at a time. So one of these days I'm going to get 2, 3, 4 check marks, and I'm just going to stick to it, but I'm still working on it. I don't know. I'm trying everything I can to like, and I guess like my solution is just do it. I don't know. I don't know that I have like a plan around it. I think that's why I'm trying to like mentally fix the self-talk about that part too.
Hey everybody. Okay, so I would just say that I just kind of wrote some things down, but I would say my two biggest challenges is probably the containers and then the water. So I would say like for the containers, sometimes like I don't portion it out all the time, and I kind of like I do like if I, make me a parfait and I put like granola in the carb thing, sometimes I will like overfill it. And I was guilty of that a few times. So I would just say like for the containers, like and the portion sizes to make it easier for me, and how to fix it is basically just like kind of meal prepping, just like meal prepping, like even like chicken, like putting that in the fridge. Sometimes like when I'm on the go, like and I need something to eat and I don't have anything like prepped, that's where I struggle. So I would say like meal prepping, and then just like really like measuring out my portions is important, and taking the containers with me when I do go out of town and travel, which has also been a challenge for me too in the past. And then also for the water, I would say um basically like bringing like my water cup with me, trying to help myself like sip on it throughout the day, have like a whole glass in the morning, try to get it in early. Even putting like lemon or cucumber in my water to make it more flavorful and like have me like feel like I want to drink it more. And I tend to do put lemon in my water. I just recently ran out. I ran out. It's been like 2 weeks, so I need to go and get more lemons. Um, but yeah, so I would just say, you know, uh, I would just say like, that would be able to help me and everything. So
Remember why you started the program, why you are doing what you're doing. I know there's a lot of you in the group who are pregnant, which I think it's freaking phenomenal how you are taking care of you and also your baby, right? Because something that we don't think about, it's like a lot of the energy that we have when we're pregnant, we're passing that on to our child. So what better habits to start good habits in the womb, right? So it's like we're carrying this wonderful life, and once that baby arrives, right, she's going to see a new mom that has a new perspective about life and about nutrition and pushing through. And just like, I got hot and sexy while carrying you in my belly.